Some saying that according to the Thabo Mbeki high-level panel, multinational companies have been complicit in corruption through white-collar crime. For instance, trade under invoicing, trade over invoicing, sometimes using transfer pricing in fraudulent ways, and that all of these things were robbing the countries in which they were supposedly investing of the required revenues, and that this practice should be stopped at all costs. And very strong reasons were given on that side. Also, another school of thought said that foreign direct investment into Nigeria has been reducing. And it was reducing precisely because of these kinds of arbitrary actions, where nobody really knows what you can expect from the Nigerian government. At the end of the day, one of the conclusions that came out of that public-private debate was that regulatory actions in Nigeria have not been effective. Whether in terms of catching multinationals who are ripping the country off, it has not been effective. In the case of giving confidence to those who have come to operate in the Nigerian economy, it has not been effective either. So what makes for effective regulation? In the words of Professor Paula Black, who wrote a paper some years ago titled Regulatory Conversations, 3 things are needed for good regulation. Number 1 is standard setting. All of those who are being regulated need to understand what standards of behavior are required of them, and they should be assisted to be very aware. Secondly, it's information gathering. The regulators must be able to track what is happening, must be able to intervene effectively, swiftly and effectively. And finally, behavior modification. They must be able to modify behaviors to ensure that people behave in ways that meet the public interest. So it is really about the interest of the public at the end of the day that regulatory actions are taken. So the question remained, the 1/3 of the value of MTN that was wiped off in one day, was that entirely necessary? And therefore, was it in the public interest? Trying to bring MTN to a place where it collapses in Nigeria, is that in the best interest of Nigeria? Is that in the best interest of Nigerians? Regardless of whether or not there are allegations that there were infractions committed by the company. So it brought to the fore the debate around the philosophy of regulation. Why do we have regulation? What purpose is regulation supposed to serve? So the partners again are thinking that there has to be a follow-up to the first meeting, and a follow-up has now been planned in Abuja, where we work with the regulatory agencies to examine the philosophy of regulation. It was clear from the arguments on the day that Nigeria does not have a philosophy of regulation.